charged interest like any normal user. So, in other words, he purposely moved their margin account, which he said he didn't know about, he said he didn't know about this $8 billion, into an account that wouldn't be charged interest like most of FTX's use. So, all of this evidence makes it seemingly impossible that he didn't know about this stub account or fiat account, whatever he wants to call it, like he's claiming. Clearly he knew, and the SEC accusing him of this adds a lot of credibility to that. Now, in addition to the SEC, this internal knowledge of Sam and Alameda was further confirmed in a hearing today in the U.S. House Committee, where the bankruptcy lawyer John Ray III, who's overseeing the FTX bankruptcy, he was asked about if there's any way Sam didn't know about the backdoor access that Alameda had. And here's what he said.
That backdoor, which you've said allowed for unlimited access of Alameda, essentially unlimited access into the FTX customer accounts to fund their investments. In your eyes, is there any way that Sam Bankman-Fried or senior management wouldn't know about this sort of thing?
No.
Wow. Sam is getting slammed from every direction, including the guy overseeing his company's own bankruptcy. And you know what? I couldn't be happy, because up till now, it's just been Sam talking about how this was an embarrassing mistake. And finally, the adults have come in the room. We have real investigators, forensic professionals saying there's no shock that this story is true. On top of that, the company's own accounting practices were just horrific, which I found funny.
They use QuickBooks. A multi-billion-dollar company using QuickBooks.
QuickBooks?
QuickBooks.
I like how the congresswoman can't even believe it could be so terrible at FTX. I mean, I know this isn't evidence of fraud. It's just kind of funny and embarrassing, because I use QuickBooks for my YouTube channel, but these guys are using it for a $1 billion organization. And you can tell this bankruptcy lawyer's like, oh my gosh, they're using QuickBooks.
Nothing against QuickBooks. Very nice tool. Just not for a multi-billion-dollar company.
Now, from here, I want to move on from the SEC and the House Committee, and I want to talk about the CFTC revelation, because they also filed a complaint. And again, it's really bad for Sam. It's a 40-page document, but most alarming is this revelation. According to the CFTC, Sam Bankman-Fried knew back in September, remember they went bankrupt in November, he knew back in September that Alameda was hopelessly insolvent, and he considered shutting it down. Quote, in or around September 2022, Bankman-Fried drafted and shared a document that questioned whether Alameda should be permanently shut down. The document, titled We Came, We Saw, We Researched, began, I only started thinking about this today, and so haven't vetted it much. But I think it might be time for Alameda Research to shut down. Honestly, it was probably time to do that a year ago. And then he says the most alarming part, quote, the fact we didn't hedge as much as we should have alone cost more in expected value than all the money Alameda has ever made or ever will make. In other words, they were down bad. They had lost more money than they ever made or ever will make. He knew they weren't coming back from this back in September. But did he unwind it? Did he release this document? No. He kept the scam going. And it's just further evidence of this being an intentional fraud. Now, from here, we're finally going to move to that big kahuna, the Department of Justice complaint, where we get to the criminal allegations and we talk about jail time. So today, the DOJ released the sealed indictment where they reveal 8 counts of fraud. Now, we're not going to go through every single one of them because they kind of repeat, but they range from like conspiracy to commit wire fraud and wire fraud itself to conspiracy to money launder and then also conspiracy to violate campaign finance laws, going back to the huge donations to political parties they made. But the big takeaway is that if he actually goes down for these 8 things, he's facing serious prison time. And in my opinion, I think he's going to be declared guilty of at least some of these. I think the evidence is overwhelming. I personally have a confession from Sam that he co-equal funds. We've got SEC complaints that he knowingly hid those $8 billion. We got the CFTC saying he knew back in September that Alameda was in trouble. So it's just, there's too much stacked against them is what I'm saying. But ultimately, we will see what happens. And you don't actually know until the actual trial happens. So we will be following it closely. But either way, I just wanted to say, this is a win regardless. The fact that he's arrested, the fact he's going to have to stand trial and answer for what he's done and not being able to easily way out of it is something I'm very happy about. It's a huge win for everyone. I just wanted to cover this real quick. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting, and I will see you in the next one.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Cold Fusion. What do you think is the probability of a multi-billionaire losing his entire fortune in a single weekend? Most people would likely say that it's close to impossible, and yet, this is exactly what happened to 30-year-old Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX, the second largest crypto exchange in the world. He was the golden boy on the cover of Fortune and Forbes magazine. He had a net worth of $26 billion, watched the Super Bowl with NBA star Steph Curry, had dinner with CEO, Jeff Bezos, and Leonardo DiCaprio. Big names like BlackRock and SoftBank invested in his vision. But behind the facade was something completely different. Sam's empire was actually a bunch of 10 romantically involved crypto kids running a shady operation out of the Bahamas. The fall of FTX triggered the collapse of more than 100 affiliated companies and wiped out countless savings. This story has strange but very real ties to American politics, the war in Ukraine, and Enron. It has the intensity of Theranos, but with the collapse as rapid as Lehman Brothers. This is the wild story of...
So I decided, starting today, my 34th birthday, I'm going to make a movie every day. And I've been doing it every day for a year! Those are the movers. It's actually happening. Today is a huge deal for 3 reasons. Let me pull them apart. Number 1, today is my 35th birthday. 35! insane. I'm 35 years old. Number 2, it's a big deal because I'm moving today. And number 3, today is 1 year of vlogging. Let's work backwards. Let's talk about 1 year of vlogging. Before I started vlogging, I had a YouTube channel for 5 years. And in those 5 years, I had a whole bunch of huge viral hits. Movies that got like 15, 16 million views. But my subscriber growth was anemic. The channel growth was anemic. Flat, like that. 5 years, 500,000 subscribers. Then I started uploading daily. And in 5 months, I had 500,000 more subscribers. That's 1 million subscribers. 5 years for the first 500,000, 5 months for the second 500,000. So I kept uploading. And 2 months later, I had another 500,000 subscribers. Now here I am, 1 year after doing daily uploads, and I've got 2.5 million subscribers. YouTube isn't Hollywood. I'm not Stanley Kubrick. You can't succeed here if you're uploading once a month. If you want to succeed here, you got to show up for work every single day. That took me 5 years to learn. I didn't start daily vlogging to grow my YouTube channel. I did it as a way to kill all of those excuses I used that kept me from making more movies. Because at every single inflection point in my life, doing the work has always been the thing, has always been the catalyst that took me from where I am to where I wanted to be.
What's up, guys? Oh my god. 1, 2, 3. Jeez. Oh my gosh, dude. Good to see you guys. Take care, guys.
On March 25th, 2016, I turned 35 years old. I can no longer enlist in the U.S. Marine Corps, but I can run for president. And let's be clear about one thing. 35 is f***ing old as shit. Don't listen to any of that bullshit about I don't feel my age or I feel like I'm a teenager. No way. Yes, I can do a standing backflip. Yes, I can cross the street walking on my hands. And I can run a marathon before my morning coffee. But I am old and I feel old. The physical aspect of aging aside, I want to tell you a story. My first job in New York was as a bike messenger. My second job in New York was working for this guy who was like a big deal. And the first time I ever went out in the city was to his 35th birthday. And you have to understand, I was like this 20-year-old loser then. I literally was washing dishes like 2 months earlier, and now I'm at this like big to-do birthday party. And there were like insanely beautiful women there, and all the dudes were dressed really well, and everybody was getting drunk, and I felt way out of place. I remember looking at my boss, feeling tiny, and thinking, when I'm his age, I want to be as big of a deal as he is. Now, I gave up on that years ago. You should never compare yourself to other people in life. But I do remember that feeling of standing at the bottom of a huge mountain, staring up, and it feeling seemingly impossible to get to where I wanted to go. And in the last 15 years, I've learned it's not, but it takes a lot of work and a long time.
So, hey, Casey, this is Xavier. Congratulations on your 365th day. I tell you.
Thanks, Adrian.
You got it.
Getting a new apartment in New York City is a huge deal. To understand this, I gotta tell you the whole story. Before I moved to New York City, I was living like 2 hours away from the city. And I would come in to like make videos with my brother, and then I'd get back on the train and go back to the city. So my first apartment didn't matter what the apartment was. Just the idea of having a place to lay my head down in New York City was the hugest deal for me. It wasn't really much of an apartment. That door all the way at the end there, that door all the way in the back. That was my first apartment. It's not even fair to call this my first apartment. This was a 3-month sublet. I had to stay in for 3 months. And this sublet was a studio apartment, a 200 square foot studio apartment. Here's the door. You could fit 1 queen size bed in there, no bedrooms or anything. And then here was the toilet, here was the shower. But it was a 200 square foot studio apartment converted to a 2-bedroom. So here was my bedroom, here was a total stranger's bedroom that I lived with. This bedroom was so small, I had a futon in there that I couldn't lay flat. I had to sleep on it in the couch position because the room was too small to lay it flat. When that 3-month sublet was up, I moved out to a friend's couch in this building right here. That was September 1, 2001. 10 days later, terrorists attacked the World Trade Center that were right here. Now, it's hard to tell, but this building is 1.5 blocks from the World Trade Center. And when that attack happened, this apartment was destroyed, everything was wrecked. That's the World Trade Center right there burning. That's 20-year-old Casey, scared out of his mind, riding my bike up the West Side Highway to get away from the towers. To get my stuff back, I had to dress up like a construction worker, go past all the security, go past Ground Zero, which was just a smoldering pile on September 12th, and break into my own apartment to get back all of my things. And then after I legit had nowhere to stay. I had no home. So I moved in with my brother Dan and his girlfriend. They lived in this apartment here, and I slept on their hardwood floor for a while. They lived in the top floor and there's no elevator, and I'd go up and down these steps, because this place right here had great pizza. Then I bribed my way into a place uptown. It was way uptown, and it was all I could afford. It was a SRO. That stands for Single Room Occupancy. What that meant, a 12-foot by 12-foot room with no bathroom and no kitchen. The bathroom was down the hall, and you shared it with the entire floor. Now, this is all I could afford, but it was mine. It was the dichotomy of that place, the fact that I had a place that was mine, but it was the worst living situation I could have. So I was dying to get out, dying to move to a better place. But unlike the 3-month sublet, there was nobody kicking me out. I could have conceivably stayed there forever. The hardest part of living in that SRO was Owen. He was like a little baby at the time, and when he would wake up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom, I would have to wake up with him and hold his hand and walk down the hallway and hope that there was no stranger in the bathroom or that it wasn't a mess, so he could go to the bathroom and then walk him back. See, my first 5, 6 years here, most people's first years in the city, you don't live in the city. You just survive in the city. And that was my situation. Eventually I left there and I moved in with some friends, and I moved into a tiny apartment, then a slightly bigger apartment, then a slightly bigger apartment. I've literally moved every 2 years for the last 15 years. The movers are on lunch break. I'm gonna have a quick peek. Oh, it's kind of sad. I remember when we first brought the crib into this room. It's really happening. And this absolutely wonderful apartment that we live in now, it's Candace's apartment. She picked it out. She got it. She designed it. This is her apartment. But the new place is my apartment. I picked it out. It's my name on the lease. I'm providing my family with this apartment. That's a huge deal. I'm no longer that 20-year-old kid looking at his boss saying someday. My focus is laser set on the future. I'm not looking back. All I see are bigger, scarier mountains that I will climb and stop at nothing to get to the top of. Total moving crisis right now. The movers were supposed to be out of the old place by noon, moving into the new place by 1, and be done at the new place by 6. Is that Marlon?
No!
into the new place because it's so late, and they got everything from my underwear to my mattress to my pillow. What's your bed? You're gonna be sleeping in the hall tonight. Great. Good movies are never gonna be finished. But there were that classic rap. Oh, we're not going to the movies. Not that we want to, but just because we have nowhere else to go. We're seeing 10 Cloverfield. We saw 10 Cloverfield Lane. Did you like it? Yeah. It was so good, but it's now ridiculously late. They're still not done with the apartment. I don't know what to do. Sorry, you have to sleep on the floor. We don't have a bed for you yet. We're going soon. Good night. Good night. Just do my hand.
Happy. Start your cigarette?
Hi, Francine! Today is my birthday proper. It's 2 p.m. and I haven't left the house. Well, I haven't made it to work yet. I don't mean to complain. I just I got really behind yesterday with the move and stuff. And so far I'm not. It's not a bad day. I'm not having. It's less celebratory than I had hoped for. But I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna change that now. I'm going to meet Owen. Today's my birthday. I can do whatever I want to do. What do I want to do? I don't want to have to decide what to do. That's not fair. I want to hang out with Owen, because he's basically my favorite person. I want to get out of this neighborhood. I kind of want to go to the movies. Going to the movies is my favorite thing. And it's really hard to do with a baby and a wife and all these jobs and all this work. Also, whoever that kid in the street was that gave me these cheesecakes, thank you. I've eaten 1.5 of them, and I plan on eating at least 2 of them, and maybe getting the 3rd cheesecake to Owen. But thank you. You got some pretty good presents today.